the blonde bombshell, Millie Gibson, whether she's out or not. There's lots of Doctor Who coming later this year. And as well as the stuff that's going on the television, those 8 episodes, there's going to be a lot to talk about surrounding Doctor Who itself as well, because quite frankly, there always is. So as Doctor Who fans, we're forced to wait, but the joy of waiting is that it allows Doctor Who fans to indulge one of our other passions, and that is speculation. Sarah, speculation about what the future may hold. So I've asked the plucky team here to speculate, to go away and to jot a few things down and to just throw it out there right now, right here and now. I want your predictions. We're going to give you our predictions for what 2024 may indeed bring throughout the Whoniverse, whether it's on or off screen. So have you had fun gathering your thoughts?
Yeah, I have.
Do you enjoy speculate? You enjoy speculating, Sarah, do you?
I do, yeah. It is a fun pastime of being a fan, and we've got to do something while we're idling away at the moment. So as I've said, I'm well into my 60s Doctor Who at the moment. Really enjoying it. Some episodes I'm watching for the first time, and I've also noticed. I went shopping recently, and there's a new fashion show that I don't know if you might have seen this in the female shops. Lots of fuzzy, furry, black and white stripe jumpers, cardigans, dresses, this kind of thing. Oh. Very much like the Menoptera. I'm thinking, with Russell being on trend, this is what we're going to get. I think we're either going to get the Menoptera back with Ncuti, or we're going to get, that's going to be the next 60s episode to be coloured. Can you imagine all the episodes of the Web Planet in glorious colour?
Just when you thought it couldn't possibly get any worse.
So what you're telling me is after a trip to Peacocks and various other places, you have come to the conclusion, to doing a bit of window shopping, that the Web Planet will be the next Doctor Who story that our friends, that Richard Tipple and Kieran Hyman are going to be colourising for broadcast at some point of BBC 4 later in the year.
How
Your
can
prediction?
they not? Can't you wait to see that wonderful hairdryer in glorious colour?
I think you're taking the mickey out of the Web Planet just a tiny bit, Sarah. How could you?
Listen, Hartnell sold those scenes. I believed it. It put six parts. So, I mean, oh dear.
Zarby, as Crimpling Doubloon says.
I started getting every time I heard the Zarby noise, I started getting a twitch, and I kept hearing it like at night. It was really starting to affect me. I love it. It's but what they did, the scale of it, the ambition. I know it didn't quite work, but
they tried it.
They need to take risks again. That's what I'm saying. 60s Doctor Who is blowing this current era out of water.
That's the only Doctor Who story ever, Sarah, when the only human characters in it are the 4 time travelers. That's it. Everything else is alien, and in an alien costume. There's no single human actor in there in human form. Amazing.
I might even, if you're good, I might even buy this black and white drum just to show.
But you'll have to give yourselves big plastic wings made out of a bin liner.
I think they go like that, don't they?
And you know who's in one? You know who's in one of those Menoptera, don't you? Only Martin Jarvis. Martin Jarvis.
Wow.
Martin Jarvis.
The Martin Jarvis in one of his first. In fact, I think it is his first television role in one of the Menoptera. It could be worse. He could have got again.
Yeah. Okay. So you found the level, everybody. So far, this is our predictions for 2024. Things could get pretty wild. The Zarby are pretty wild. The Menoptera are very, very wild. Charlotte, have you got a prediction for 2024 on or off screen? Anything in print or just general? What could possibly happen this year, this calendar year?
I think we had a lot of we had a word repeated quite a lot last year, Hooniverse. But we didn't really get told what it means yet. We haven't really seen how on earth they're going to do this. Either it's spin-offs or is it connected? I think they need to properly show what's this shared vision, which they've kept banging on about, but not actually telling us anything. They've got the pretty logo now. They've got the iPlayer set up. It needs to now properly start to take form. And I just think I think the big thing is obviously back when Russell was first doing it, there was connections, but they were very much their own shows, whether that was Sarah Jane or Torchwood. So they did connect and there was fun little crossovers, but they were their own thing. Is he going to take that approach? Or is he actually going to go for it and say, no, this is a proper shared, connected universe? And I just think we need to start to see what on earth that is. So I think that's going to be a focus this year.
So you think that they're going to, behind the scenes, this is going to happen behind the scenes, or we're going to see some of it?
I think we need to start to see what announcements possibly for spin-offs. I know there's rumoured stuff with a unit, which I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. I know it's been talked about a lot. There's the rumour now of the Sea Devil spin-off show. So I just think they need to start to say, what's the vision a little bit, honestly? How's it going to work? Do we need to watch all these shows to watch the main show? I think that's a big worry because that's for Marvel, for example, that was a big turn off for people with the Marvel movies that they felt like they had to watch them all.
We've got a question here from Robert Payne in the live chat here on YouTube who asks, what is the Hooniverse? They don't even know. I in all fairness, let's not be churlish about this. They know. It's the Hooniverse is a portal. It's part of the BBC's iPlayer platform, and you can watch all Doctor Who on there, and it's something they're clearly going to develop and exploit. The way that intellectual properties do get exploited, they're going to expand it and exploit it with a brand of programming, of content, and I expect some of it will be interactive. So to me, it's actually very clear what the Hooniverse is, but where it's going is another question entirely. A few years ago, Universal Studios, if you remember, Charlotte, they embarked on a very ambitious plan where they were going to go back through their history and remake a lot of their old monster movies, and they grabbed all these big movie stars. Remember, Ian, they got Russell Crowe, Tom Cruise. They got a big photo shoot. We're going to make the Mummy. We're going to make the Invisible Man. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And they got a fancy logo, Dark Universe. They made one film and the thing sank without a trace. There's a great danger. There's a great danger. If Universal Studios can do that, Simon, and have it just instantly fall flat, then it can absolutely happen to the BBC. So in your view, Charlotte, what's the first step that needs to be planted firmly for people, for the fans to take seriously and the general public to notice that the Hooniverse exists?
I think it needs to be what the spin-offs, because all the stuff we got extra last year was nice, but it was very twee. Like we said, I know that's what Simon said about Tales of the TARDIS, with some of the documentary stuff. It was very sort of fluff. It felt very fluffy and not like weighty. I think we need to see, like I said, what spin-offs are we getting? How much are we going to get? How frequently? Like I said, a vision, a sort of setting their stall out. What's it going to be? How much do we need to watch of it?
Inspire us.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Can it get us excited?
Do you know what I find quite odd as well? Sorry, Charlotte, go on, carry on.
Well, because like that's what worked with before, like I said, with Sarah Jane and Torchwood. It was different audiences they were playing to, and that worked very well. They had characters we knew and loved. That was the center point of those shows. So they just, like I said, we need a vision, we need some announcement, or we don't have to see them necessarily this year, but we need to get a plan, and we need to know a little bit what that plan is for the Hooniverse.
What I was going to say is I find a little bit strange is the way now they put that Hooniverse logo, the ident at the top of all of the new episodes.
Yes,
now, I'm not necessarily against it. I'm not against it, but it is a bit odd. It's just a bit. What do they expect the public reaction to be to that? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't really mean much to us. It certainly doesn't mean anything to the public. And so really they're just bandying this word around for no particularly good reason at the moment. I just find it a bit odd.
I think the rollout of it was, in my belief, from a marketing point of view, from a designer's point of view, the rollout of it was absolutely fine.
Yes.
But now we're nearly 6 months on. Now's the time to, particularly in the lull between now and season 1 starting, is to plant something. Tony Farrell here in the live chat. Hiya, Tony. Big T's there. He says, for the Hooniverse to work, the central show needs to be sorted out first.
Spot on.
And obviously, this is obviously demonstrably true.
Oh yes.
The thing is, they clearly believe they've done that already because they're continuing to make it at an increasingly fast rate. So I suppose we just have to accept that they have this in mind. We've already accepted the fact that Millie Gibson is already out of the regular cast means that they don't really care whether we react to it or not. That we're going to get some version of this plan rolled out, probably including an extra project. Maybe even 2, because that's one of my sort of semi-predictions. I believe we will get an announcement this year of 2 series that are going to be part of the Hooniverse, one of which I believe could be animated, properly, a fully animated series. And I'm not sure if we're talking about regular series or kind of event series model things, but I think we are going to find out 2 projects this year. That would be my prediction about that. Keep your predictions coming in the live chat too. We'll get round to those as well in due course. We've got some, so we'll definitely come back to those in a minute. Any other predictions, Charlotte? Anything else you got that's just buzzing around your head that you think, I've got to get this out there. I've got to get it out there.
I think maybe, like you said, what they're going to do with the classic archive. Is there going to be more colour? Are they going to colorize more? Are they going to do reconstructions? I think, because we've all said if there's one success they did have last year, it was putting the classic on iPlayer. It was actually quite well done. It actually reached a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And it was a really good move to get that sort of more people watching classic. So I'm hoping they sort of capitalize now on that and sort of evolve that more, whether that's, like I said, more colorization, whether that's putting more classic on there, which isn't already there, whether that's because of agreements being made or finding stuff that they didn't have.
It would be nice if that was the case, wouldn't it? Missing episodes or something.
Yeah, so that's my other one, like evolving the classic platform that they've started, because I think that was a good move and it should get evolved. It should sort of not get left now. I'd hate for that to happen, for it to almost be, we've done our job now, let's leave it. Sort of do so. But on that move, it's past 10, so people probably can guess I need to go.
Charlotte.
Lovely to see you, Charlotte.
Bye, Charlotte.
Lovely to be back. See you all soon.
Good night.
Wouldn't be the same without you. You take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yes, these are our predictions for what 2024 may bring across the Hooniverse on and off screen here at Type 40 Live's Doctor Who Annual for 2024, kicking off our 8th season of live streams. We're going to get round to your predictions in a few moments. There's some absolute crackers in here, but Peter Harrington, he predicts a riot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Very good, Peter.
The riot could be about. But Ian, have you got any predictions for what the year may bring, despite the fact that you've got sort of 1 foot half out the door? I mean, have you got any predictions with this?
Well, I predict that the ratings are going to go down lower. And after the 2nd season, 3rd season, they'll probably think about cancelling it. They're going to have a spin-off, and it's going to.
The 2nd season.
Well, hold on, I haven't finished it.
Hang on, for 2020.
You one of my predictions.
For 2024, not 2025 and 2020, just for this year.
You didn't make that clear, did you? Not to me, anyway.
I did.
No. I'm not going to watch it, but this is what I think is going to happen. It's going to be after the 3rd season is going to be cancelled. Yes. I reckon that's my prediction. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
Season, obviously, season 2 of, well, we cannot possibly speculate about 2025, 2026. There's no evidence to suggest that whatsoever.
But there's
at the
no
moment.
evidence to what Charlotte said just now about anything that she said. This is we're predicting, aren't we? So
yeah, I know, but I'm okay. I'm just trying not to be too black-pilled on it. I mean, we could say, "Oh, fucking hell, the world's going to end in 5 years' time," and
it's not being black-pilled. It's what a lot of people are thinking. It's a lot of people think it's going to happen because their hearts are broken. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you've got to bring this up. This is Type 40. All kinds of opinions are welcomed here, and this is my opinion. I don't think it's going to work personally. I mean, that's me being nice as well. It's not going to work, that's the thing. So, but that's just my opinion, of course.
Well, I'm sort of. I mean, the idea is that this is amusing, and it's something that over the next 12 months. So we'll come back, and in 12 months' time, see if we were accurate in any way. We can all have a good laugh at how few of the things that we predicted actually come to pass. I'm not trying to shoot you down at all. I do understand how you feel the way you do, but it is supposed to be pretty light and fluffy. And in my view, we're not seeing any reason at all to believe that Doctor Who is going to be cancelled next year. It's not looking that way.
Again, Dan,
I mean, it does seem to me that they have. I don't understand this modern way of making television, that something can seemingly be bankrolled to such a degree that
we
it
know
could be
why,
this
don't we?
unstoppable train, and they're willing to make 2, 3, 4 seasons of something.
Yeah, but we know why.
Irrespective of whether the audience like it or not. That seems alien to me.
That's their MO, isn't it? With every show, with the Disney, with the Star Wars, but we can go on forever about
content.
Yeah, exactly. And even if it's failing, they will still pump money into it. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a failure with the majority of people that like Doctor Who. It's starting right now, and it's only going to get worse. Let's face it.
I mean, I must be honest. I don't think it will get cancelled. I have to be honest. I don't. I would personally like to see it just have a breather, as I said earlier. I don't think it will get cancelled because they will just keep on ploughing money into it. I mean, they just will. It'll I think it'll keep it. Unfortunately, I don't think they've got the foresight to think, oh, you know what, maybe a 3 or 4, 5 year break would do it good. Because they can't unsee the dollar signs in front of their eyes. But anyway,
Bad Wolf.
This is it with corporations. They're just going to keep milking and milking and milking.
I know that all this stuff is very, very, very popular, particularly on this platform. It's what keeps a lot of channels going that make multiple videos about this. But what they're not acknowledging is the fact that Bad Wolf have an agreement with BBC Studios to make this show for 5 years. There's another 3 years to go of that. And so, people can plaster it all over their thumbnails that Doctor Who is dead and that Doctor Who is done, and as much as they like. And I'm not saying that this is a good thing. I'm not saying that living in an age where the quality of television, and whether it's popular or not, is academic, is a good thing. But there's no hint at all that Doctor Who is to be cancelled anytime soon, anybody. I'd say it's at least going to. I mean, whether it gets extended beyond that 5 years, obviously, I think is another question. That's another question. I think
I totally agree with you. There is no evidence that it's going to be cancelled. But you asked for my prediction.
That's it.
So I totally agree with you. And you know what? Because of BlackRock and all this so money, they'll keep going, but the audience will dwindle.
It will.
Across the Atlantic to over here, it will dwindle because of what they're putting in the show, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, right, but that's what's going to happen, and I think that's what's going to happen. But to tell you the truth, I do not wish this upon Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. Unfortunately, to me, this isn't Doctor Who. So I hope the people that like it watch it so that it can just keep going, in my opinion, but who knows?
Let's see if this new audience shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah, are they out there? Will they show up? And if not, then is there any possibility or any interest in any kind of course correction whatsoever by the program makers there, Simon? Because it looks, as I say, like the responses, not the wants or the will, but the responses of the viewing public are just not not a factor in this at all. They'll make X amount of episodes over the 5 years as a package, as a deal. The deal, the deal will be met. The product will be made and marketed and delivered over that period of time, and then how it gets remembered in the history books will remain to be seen. Whether that will be in 2027, 2030. Who knows where we'll be by then? I mean, this show, I think what we have seen, Sarah, is how quickly the fortunes of Doctor Who can turn for better or for worse. Who'd have thought in 2023 that just 4.5 years on from the day of the Doctor, we'd be staring down the barrel of 10 episodes of absolute tripe, like Arachnids in the UK and all that stuff. That was just 4.5 years between that high point and toilet bowl low. So if it can go that way, it can potentially go the other way. I'll admit
What's that on David Tennant's forehead?
I'll admit that it's a streak of light, I think. I'll admit that at the moment that it's not looking. It's not looking that way one way or the other. I think it's impossible because we are in this position of limbo as it presently stands. The all-new era has begun, but in many respects it actually hasn't, because we saw a little of it on Christmas Day, but it was nothing. And whatever you feel that was in that special and wasn't, because it wasn't substantial, I still feel like we're sort of in limbo. Have you got any other predictions, Ian?
I don't know. No, not really.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, I don't want to upset people that are for this era of Doctor Who. But I'd like to express my opinion, and I have expressed my opinion. The thing about this Doctor Who is, I think it's very dangerous. If I had kids, I would never let my kids watch this Doctor Who. It's very insidious what they put in those, especially the Christmas episode. But I won't. So. But that's just my opinion, of course, obviously. But there you go.
So
hello, legs. Yeah.
Got distracted by legs. Yeah.
Got distracted. Got distracted a bit. Yeah, there you go.
We're speaking very, very generally here. Very, very generally. So, Simon, how about you? Are you one? I mean, every Doctor Who fan likes making lists and likes speculating. What's buzzing around your head at the moment? I mean, we've spoken a lot about where we feel the series is presently, but have you got any predictions, either creatively about what may happen to the characters on the screen, about the production of the series itself, or about something extraneous to the series, or expanded world stuff, or merchandise? Have you got anything?
Yeah, I have. I mean, my one prediction, which if I was a betting man, I would put money on this one, actually. And I'm not suggesting we sort of unpack all this one, because we've kind of been there already. But my one prediction is, I genuinely think it will be announced this year that Ncuti is leaving the role. I'm not in any doubt that this time next year, Ncuti will not. He will still be in the role. I know there'll be episodes in the canon. It'll be going on, but it will be announced this year that he is moving on. I'm cast iron certainty on that, and I'm very happy for us to get here this time next year and say, was I right?
No, I think you're right, Simon, because he is a rising star. He's already alluded to things in that interview.
When it wasn't Barbie, right?
I think Barbie's done so much to raise his profile. I think even more than getting the gig of Doctor Who has, if I'm quite honest.
I mean,
I can't see him sticking around. I think you're right.
My reason for saying that, I think, is different to yours. My reason is because I think that this iteration of Doctor Who won't be seen as a success, and I think they'll move him on in the hope of sort of rebooting it and starting again with a new actor, rather than because he's doing because he's a rising star. I just think they'll kind of think, oh, let's reboot, let's try again. But
so hang on, let me just clarify something, Simon.
Yes.
So you're not suggesting, it's not that you're suggesting that the actor will move on for the character. You're suggesting that they could effectively reboot the series again and come at the whole thing editorially again.
I think so. I honestly haven't got a clue what contract he signed. So for all I know, he might have signed a 5-year contract, in which case I'm talking out of my backside. If it's a 2-year contract, as Ian says, and I think that would be logical that it would be a 2-year contract, I simply think they won't renew his contract. And I don't think it'll be because he's done anything terrible, or I'm not trying to sort of stoke controversy. I'm simply saying I think that they will look at it and say, it's not really resonated with the public. Let's try again. And I think if anybody, the people that will kind of push that would be Disney, simply because they need it to resonate with the public, maybe more so than the BBC do. Maybe the BBC are a bit more... Well, we know that the BBC don't really know what they've got with Doctor Who, so they're just a bit more easygoing. Disney won't be easygoing with failure. They'll say, no, we've got to reboot this, rebrand it, restart again, I think.
Yeah, but
well, we have a comment here from
in charge, then it's not going to be good, is it? I mean, he's just going to do the same thing, isn't he? So I don't know.
Right,
but he's got a comment here from Heretic OSJC, who agrees with you, Simon. My prediction is Ncuti is only going to do 2 series because he's in so much demand. A secret regeneration and maybe a 3rd Christmas special. Now, I have heard that he's contracted for 3 seasons, but of course, the rate, and this is so I kind of think that you're probably going to be right about this, because they are making this material at quite a rate. Ncuti was cast nearly 2 well, actually no, he was announced nearly 2 years ago. He would have been cast around this time 2 years ago. So a 2-year commitment. Potentially he could be there for another 12 months attached to this role. I think that you're probably right. I believe that he signed to do 3 seasons, but one of my sort of soft predictions for this was that there will be a bigger gap, that they won't continue at this momentum. There will be a gap in production between season 2 and season 3, so we won't get the same period of time in between that his 2nd and 3rd run, that it would extend it a little, simply because it will have been so intense for them working on it. There was very little respite in between seasons 1 and season 2, and that's quite unusual, I think, and probably unnecessary. And I think that they can't possibly make a 3rd run without having some barometer, some idea of which characters people have latched onto and how his incarnation is going down. Not least of all because they may wish to offer him, as to what he wants of his career, I've no idea. But they may wish to offer him an extension to that contract, offer him another 2 seasons, which that's pretty commonplace. At which point they're going to need to know. By that point, they're going to have to know and make that decision based on some form of audience response. It makes perfect business sense.
And the thing is, I mean, if they have signed him on for example, 3 seasons, then there's absolutely no reason why they couldn't make those 3 seasons if he's on a 2-year contract. They could easily do it, because at the end of the day, if they're all only 8 episodes long, that's 24 episodes. So back in the day, you used to have a 13 episode season. So across 2 years, that was 26. So that's still more episodes in a 2-year period than they would be making now with Ncuti anyway. So it's completely doable. They could still do 3 seasons potentially in 2 years. And then let him go. And what would that take us up to 2026 for his 3rd season? And then he moves on. But as I say, my prediction will be that he still gets removed.
I think Dan's right, though.
This year he will be out.
One of the reasons why they're making it fast is maybe they do know they've got him under a 2-year contract and they're trying to off that much. I think Dan might have something there. So,
There's got to be some sense and reason to it, Sarah, because for us, I mean, we don't work in TV. I mean, Simon and Ian have and do, but to us, it's like, what's going on? They're really going at this. Somebody's got to slow down. Hello to Shah in the live chat. I don't know if they're is it chucking out time yet? No. Shah. Shah, hopefully Shah will be back with us at some point in the near future. Hello, you lovely lot. Welcome back to you too.
Right,
Hello,
Shark, you need to watch this one back from the start and see the ridiculous lead-ins he's had for us all. I don't know what you've missed.
Now, can I move on to my second prediction? Because my second prediction I'm quite excited about.
Okay,
My second prediction is that this year, if not this year that it will be released, but it will certainly be announced that this year that we are going to get the first Patrick Troughton Blu-ray box set.
That was my prediction.
I do apologise, Matt.
It was bound to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Matt, which season are you? Because I know which season I think it will be that they will release.
Well, I'm thinking probably I'm hoping the third season.
Yeah, I think it will be the third. Because it makes sense to be the third, because the only story that they haven't got out of the third season is the Space Pirates. They're missing a couple of episodes here and there for the invasion and stuff like that. The Space Pirates is missing in its entirety apart from one episode. But let's be honest, nobody really cares about the Space Pirates anyway, so they can just do a telesnaps reconstruction of that and move on. So I think season 3 will be announced. Season 6, i.e. Patrick Troughton's third season, will be announced this year, if not released this year. There's my prediction.
Oh, that I would love that. It does seem odd that there hasn't been even a sniff of, Patrick Troughton. Yeah.
And season 3 is logical.
That's a terrible omission. Awful omission.
It's coming.
It's difficult to market. It's difficult to market. I mean, Ian, we talked. How you are with black and white material. You're not so keen on it. It's harder to market black and white material, isn't it?
Yeah,
but it's also it's next to impossible though to market black and white material when massive chunks of it don't exist. So, do you think that could be the reason why we're still waiting for Troughton set?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't have a problem with black and white material. I do prefer the Doctor Who's when the special effects are redone and they put colorization. I love the one that they showed before Christmas, the Hartnell one. Absolutely fantastic. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, it looked a bit ropey, but what do you expect? The thing was shot like years and years and years ago. But and I love the edit of it too, because when I saw it originally, it really did drag. But in my opinion, obviously Simon disagrees with me. In my opinion, the way they stuck it all together, it moved a lot more fast. And as far as I was concerned, it's a little bit more exciting as well. So I'm all up for
I liked it as well.
Version, Troughton's versions to come out on DVD. You can bet your bottom dollar if it's in black and white, they're going to do the best they can. I think doing a Blu-ray version of something that's in black and white, it's far more easier to do if it's something in color, especially the way they've captured it now, because I do believe that it was shot on video, right? Some of the Troughton stuff.
Yes.
Right? But the way they've got it looks like film. I think because they put it on something so it might look absolutely terrific. You never know. So I'm all up for that.
And I think they need to make use of Wendy Padbury.
Yes, exactly. And Fraser Hines.
Because I don't want to sound mean, but they are getting on a bit. And but then they were so warmly received doing Tales of a TARDIS.
Yes.
I couldn't wait to see, another Peak McT trailer.
I'm not in much doubt. I would imagine I'll be amazed if they haven't already recorded key interviews with Fraser Hines, Wendy Padbury, Carol Ann Ford as well.
We know from our sources that 5 further Blu-ray sets are at various stages of production.
But Dan, right? They've got these AI things, right? On the internet, okay. And there's one AI that actually takes like video, like say for instance, something shot on DV, and they upscale it, and it just looks amazing. More so than what they did with the thing at Christmas time. So if they keep going with Troughton's one, and they use this kind of technology, it's going to look fantastic, even if it isn't black and white. I love black and white movies anyway, so I'd buy it. I'd definitely buy it when it comes out.
Of course, as long as they don't tinker too much with these things. Anything can happen if you allow people to run with the ball. But this line of Blu-rays really captures people's imaginations, and we're all very invested in what could come next or next after next. the pattern of releases goes by financial year from April to April rather than calendar year, which explains why we've had 2 some years and 3 others. When you break it all down, it makes a sort of sense. Yeah. And obviously, there's been logistic reasons why we've had some more some years than others. I believe from the people that we've spoken to on the podcast, we've been lucky enough to have interviews and conversations with several key people involved, that they want to get this stuff out as quickly and as beautifully presented as possible. Yeah. But obviously, they're also very aware that there's only so many events that you can put into the average calendar. There's only so much money in all of our wallets to invest in these things. It's the range has been running for 6 years now, and in some ways it does seem strange that there's an incarnation of the Doctor that's not represented in that collection. So we know why. I would love that. I think obviously, ideally, I'm going to buy them all anyway. I'm going to buy them.
Yeah.
Do the majority of fans? But actually, in the live chat, let us know, and in the comments section, do you buy each and every release, or do you cherry pick when it comes to the Blu-rays? I think most people are completists, but again, I could be wrong. Have you got a second prediction, Simon?
Right. My other prediction is this. I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb here.
Here we go.
I think we might get an episode back this year. I think we might get a missing episode this year. I am going to go out on a limb on that one and say, that's and that's not just me being wishful thinking. I just think there's just been so many rumours of late. I think I have a feeling we might have come very close to getting one last year, and maybe legalities held it up or something. I don't know, but I think there's another episode out there that is going to come back this year.
We do know, and I suppose people are going to step in the live chat in a moment and remind us that there are several episodes that exist in private hands that we know this has been made public. Yeah, could it be one of those, Simon? Or do you think there's fresh finds out there as well?
Yeah, I think undoubtedly, I do believe the rumours that there are episodes in private hands. I do also believe in my heart that there are still episodes out there that are not yet recovered, that are in a vault somewhere. Who knows? It's impossible to say whether it would be one of those that might be in private hands finally coming forward, or if they literally discover a new episode. But I'm not in any doubt at all that there are still episodes out there, and there are people that know where some of those episodes are.
Nigeria.
And I think one will come back this year. At least one. One will come back.
I hope so.
We will get missing stuff this year.
It's been 11
We're going to have to do another
years.
we're going to have to do another show revisiting these, aren't we?
Here we are.
Richard Brooks hopes the standard editions come more quickly to the Blu-rays. Yeah, there's been some delay there, and people in your hemisphere, Matt, have had a hell of a time with the Blu-rays. I understand they've put season 20 has been put back again by another couple of months.
Yeah, well, we never even got the John Pertwee one.
No, never came at all.
So the one before
season 9,
season 20, yeah. So it's just a wasteland. Everybody's leaving Australia for Blu-rays. The Amazon's left Blu-rays. You can't buy anything locally. You have to buy it from the UK or the US. So at the moment, it's all trying to force you onto streaming. Same with Disney. Yeah. Disney, we don't have Disney. We have to get them from the UK if we want them. But there's nothing modern that I want. Thank you very much. So
Simon,
I'm saving some money.
Your prediction.
Such a big fan base, and it's
my prediction,
isn't it? Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
I just want to say to Simon that your prediction there has definitely caught people's imagination here in the live chat on YouTube, and people are throwing out episodes, numbers, and titles. Feast of Stephen.
Oh, crippling balloon, if only.
This is how it gets. What Ian was saying. This show is part of our hearts, part of our souls, And it's understandable that people, I want that one the very, very most, or that one, or that one, or that one. Peter Harrington has two episodes under his hat.
Cheeky boy.
So you know the so I'm still waiting for my Tom Baker one, right? My Tom Baker Blu-ray pack thing.
It's not out for a while yet. We're going to cover that next week as it goes.
Yeah, but the one that came out with Tom Baker, what season was that? The one that came out.
17 came out with Tom Baker. That was the last Tom Baker one.
The standard
did
one.
Sorry,
no, not standard. That's due out in standard edition now.
Right,
Season 17 is due soon.
Did they do the giant robot one?
Yes,
Yes.
that was season 12. That was the first one.
That was the
All right,
first
so
one.
I haven't got that,
Let's
but
look at it, mate.
did they
Oh.
muck around
That's
with
on
the
standard edition now. You can get that on standard
All
edition.
right.
Yeah.
Did they muck around with the effects or just left it the way it was?
No,
Left it as
they
way.
slightly cleaned them up, actually. They left them
The
alone,
Ark
but they did actually
Ark in
slightly clean them up. They didn't advertise the fact that they'd slightly cleaned them up, but they have done a bit of cleanup work. And,
Don't worry,
it's
it's still a toy tank.
all the better. It's still a toy tank, I'm afraid.
By current standards, that set was marketed quite quietly, wasn't it? Season 12.
Well, I didn't even know it was there.
When you look back, as Cinnamon Toast Crunch says, that was 2018.
Oh wow!
Which,
Of course it was.
So, given the fact we've straddled time zones then with that prediction, but it leads us very nicely to Matt Potts there. Have you got any predictions that you'd like to share with us? Things that you'd like to impart?
Apart from the one that I stuffed up. Sorry, Matt.
Charlotte took one of mine. Go on, carry on. Yeah, go on. You can whisper them if you like, if it's a secret.
I have a suspicion that, and I'm dead serious about this. I have a suspicion that we'll get a series on the Blinks and the Blinks.
That robot
from the gig.
That
was the unit robot, wasn't it?
I'm guessing it may be a Big Finish audio.
Oh god!
So I
on the
reckon it will be
Blinks?
an origin. Yeah, on the Blinks. Yeah. Because
No, I think
obviously
it
he
might
was
be-
the standout character of the whole.
No,
I love that. No,
You're
it's
being
not-
cheeky.
I'm sensing, Matt, that you're being somewhat facetious here. So what you're suggesting?
Nobody's like commented like, "Oh, there's an alien there. There's an alien robot."
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
literally just hanging around. I mean, so what you're suggesting there is, because there's a dividing line, isn't there? Presently, trying to drag this back into seriousness, because
I was serious.
I don't know why, but. So some people will be asking this because there is an agreement at Big Finish, isn't there? Or at least there was, whereby they can only adapt and exploit characters and setups of the show, versions of the show that aren't presently in production. So maybe that could
really
change
think
because
the unit is being in production, because I don't see it happening. I know that spend all that money, but
I don't know about that. But I believe that we're going to see the unit HQ that we saw the other. I believe we'll see that again, which leads me to believe we'll probably see the Vlinks robot cyborg thing again.
he'll definitely be back.
Um,
Nicholas Briggs. He's got a bad smell.
The truth of the matter, though, is that perhaps the next evolution of Big Finish, and what people are asking about, what is the Hooniverse? What could it be? To me, it makes sense that line, because Big Finish, it's been 25 years. They have really held their end up of the bargain when it comes to this IP. I think it's about time that there was some, I don't want to use the word synergy, but some sort of crossover whereby Big Finish could produce something that ties into what's on TV now. And not that would be essential for people to listen to, but that could enhance it in some way and add some value and flesh something out. So I have no idea whether that's feasible, whether it's on the cards, but...
Well, I mean, I think it would work better than, a sequel to Doom. Let's just say it that way.
I'd all but forgotten about that. People are still mentioning this to the live chat. That's cut pretty
this
deep.
does bother me, because if it wasn't for Big Finish, now whether you're into your audios or not, they've kept Doctor Who going for so many years, and they're still seen as like the poor relation, and I do think it's unfair. And I think you're right, Matt and Dan, that so I think it would be nice to kind of mark this and to have some kind of partnership on screen, and just
After
this
25 years, I
plethora
think
of good stories. Now, maybe not every single story Big Finish has ever done has been brilliant, but there's still a good pile of stories that could so easily be adapted on screen.
Didn't they? Mm.
I like Liven's Flames comment here, who suggests that maybe UNIT has been renamed the United Nations Inclusive Task Force.
Yeah,
yeah, I think you're right.
Retro Doc simply states #Justice for Doom.
No, Gary, that is never going to take off.
Take these things too far.
Did it actually finish? Did Doom ever actually come to a conclusion? Did it end? What was the end?
In a comic, I think.
It finished, but that awful Suze Kempner person is probably still ranting about it on some social media platform, whichever she's not been banned from already. My God, talk about a wasp at a fucking picnic.
But I do have a prediction, one more prediction, and it is to do with Big Finish, actually. I think this year we're going to get the announcement that we're going to have the Ninth Doctor and Rose on audio together. Because it was asked, if you recall, at that convention earlier this year.
Was it?
It was they were both asked while Chris and Billy were both on stage, and they both said yes, they'd love to work with each other again. And Chris basically said, "Yeah, let's make it happen, Big Finish." So I think, well, as long as they've got the time, I just think grab them. And wouldn't it be brilliant? Because obviously next year, 2025, that's going to be 20 years since the revival. And wouldn't it be perfect to have the Ninth Doctor and Rose in time for next year?
I got a feeling that Chris Eccleston was slightly pissed at that.
There wasn't.
What gives you that idea?
There was a lot of good. There was a lot
never
of good
saw it. I don't know.
Cybermat Strikes here says Big Finish is fan fiction, not canon. Well, not so. I mean, if you look back to 1999, the line has always been that this stuff is canon, and obviously certain aspects of it have been mentioned on screen. So it is intended. It is actually intended to be canon.
Yeah,
whether we consider it to be canon or not is another question entirely.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
But I mean, interesting. Cybermat Strikes and the way he's right. It plays like fan fiction. Yeah. I mean, it is in many ways. It is fan fiction. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You think back to old fanzines that we were reading in the 80s. They were full of fan fiction. So and Big Finish is catering for fans. It's not catering for the general public. No. So yeah, it is fan fiction, to be fair. But it is also canon. Yeah.
So Matthew, have you
they still
another?
Have to get a lot of. They have to get some feedback from the BBC for that, don't they? They just can't do anything.
Yeah, I think BBC give its blessing, or it allows them.
It gives it. They give it the license.
Have you any other predictions, Matt? For the they can be serious, they could be silly. Any other
anything I come up with is like, oh, you're taking the piss. So
there's nothing wrong with that, Matt. I started with a jumper.
Okay. I predict that towards the end of this series of 8 episodes, that Melly will shake her tush again.
Oh.
There you
go.
We
live in hope.
Go on, Dan. What's your what predictions have you got then, Dan?
Well, actually, most of mine have been scuppered.
We're terrible. We're a terrible panel.
But no, because I expected that to happen, I have got a couple in reserve. So here's mine. Okay, so I will state here on Type 40 Live here on what's the date on the 25th of January of 2024 that I believe that by this time next year we'll have had 8 new episodes of Doctor Who, brand new episodes of thrilling adventures in space and time. So we'll have those and another Christmas special. And despite all of that, and despite the fact that, as I say, my disclaimer, I'm not as down on this stuff as a lot of people are, I believe that this time next year, on the 25th of January 2025, that this series, this intellectual property, will critically, commercially, and ratings-wise too, being exactly the same place as it is right now.
I wasn't expecting you to say that, actually.
And this is me taking my opinion of what they're doing on screen completely out of the equation, judging by the TV landscape, how the mainstream audience are responding to it, how the fan base are responding to it, and how the BBC are marketing and programming it, and Disney Plus for that matter, because they've said virtually F4. I think that perversely, this time next year, and we'll debate and review all of this stuff, and we're going to have a blast doing it. But despite that, I think the ratings are going to stay pretty much in one place. I think the fan base will stay, well, like some of it. They won't like they won't like some. And I think the general public, it'll arrive, it'll be on screen. Some people will notice, some people won't. I honestly think that it's got to that place where I don't think it's bland, but I don't think this is revolutionary enough and relevant enough. I mean, I don't count that kind of wokeism as relevance. It's a phony relevance. I don't think the series feels pulsing with the life that it should be at this point. And given the fact that all this stuff's in the can and that they're already on to filming the next stuff, I do expect that, generally speaking, we'll be having a version of this conversation, if not this exact conversation, about where the series could be in 12 months' time. I think that despite some of it may be diverting, and there probably will be a lot to rant and to rave about, but generally speaking, we'll find ourselves in exactly the same place this time next year. And that is not... Obviously, there could be worse places to be. You could be cancelled. The ratings could bottom out. That's not going to happen either. But it's desirable. It's desirable that things make an impact in a positive, explosive way, like they did in 2005. I don't think that's going to happen either. I think we'll be in exactly the same place this time next year.
I think maybe being a bit optimistic, I think I'm with Ian. I think the ratings will have gone down by this time next year, but we'll see. We'll see. I would predict they've gone down.
I'm not saying they're not going to dip, but I'm talking about like the Whittaker.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like, it's that massive sustained drop. I think they'll bob along.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So, truth be told, it'll bobble along the bottom, basically, which is kind of what it's doing now. It's just bobbling along the bottom.
Everything will just bobble along. Interest will bobble along. The BBC won't upset. The BBC or Disney won't do anything particularly radical. They won't do anything particularly creative. It'll just bobble along.
Isn't that terrible, though, Dan? Isn't that sad?
Stephen Moffat once said Doctor should be anything except boring. And this is what we've come to.
Isn't that terrible? What an awful, that's a really awful prediction, actually, Dan, when you think about it, because it's just so
and I
depressing.
Ian for the black pill.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
And it's how I feel. It's how I feel about the modern television landscape, is that most shows and studios, channels and platforms just bobble along. That's why when a show comes out that's so alive and that's got so much identity, like Reacher on Amazon Prime right now, for example, it really stands out because there's a creative engine behind it and a real vision and a real hunger. And you can see, by the way, that the audiences respond to that stuff. And that's not... The gears aren't turning with Doctor Who. And so unless something radical's coming in season 1, it's not... but that's not going to happen. Usually I'd be the guy saying, well, wait and see, because it's not been on yet. But because we know it's already been filmed, because we know this is banked up already, I think it's quite likely we'll be in exactly the same place this time next year. Slightly better. My other prediction I'm going to go with, it's similar to Matt's, actually, but slightly more based in the history of the show. I believe that sooner rather than later, we will see or hear K9 return to Doctor Who on television.
Oh, I hope you're right.
The Doctor's robot dog companion will return to Doctor Who, though I'm going to specifically state it's not going to be as we knew him know him or her or them. I think they're going to do something to evolve the concept of K9. But I think
God,
so. I'm not talking
It's going to
about
be a
K9.
cat. It's going to be
So
a robot cat.
So, well, that wouldn't be K9. That wouldn't be K9. Would it be feline?
Exactly.
But, so this is what I'm suggesting, that it's not going to be K9 Mark IV and it's going to be the same design. I think that they're going to take something of the principle of K9 and that character, and it's going to be part of the new series going forward.
Oh no, they'll ungender K9, won't they? It'll have to have no pronoun. Oh,
have a female voice. They'll give him a girl. You'll make him a girl.
That's the nail on the head.
I'm not suggesting that John. I'm not. I should say I'm not suggesting that John Leeson won't return to voice K9, but I think that it could be expansive. Whatever is done with K9. That's my prediction. That
worries me. That worries me.
Will return to Doctor Who, and that will be possibly on screen, but I certainly think we're going to get that announced at some point this year.
Do you think K9's going to be with Ncuti then in the Ncuti episodes? Okay.
Yes, I
think
do.
it would work. It would work in that, with that TARDIS interior having all those bloody ramps. He might as well.
Yeah, you're right.
That's part of it. That is part of my thinking.
He would look. K9 would look very cool against that white background.
People focusing on the wheelchair access. People are focusing on the wheelchair access. I'm going to focus on the robot dog, the tin dog access. Give K9 a sexy sat-nav voice. Demands cinnamon toast
Is this the flying version?
Who knows?
But it would be. It would fly.
We don't know.
I reckon it'd be great if we had him versus the Daleks. To be honest, flying around.
Yeah.
Bring back Chameleon, demands Adam. We're getting a lot of people making robust demands here. Troy is suggesting they could change the name. It could be Gay9.
No!
But you know what? Well, with the effects they can do today, all they need to do is build 1 or 2 K9s, don't they? And the rest of it could be CGI. When it's flying, CGI. When it's hovering, it could be CGI. You know what I mean? So the things they can do today. Sorry.
Can you imagine that sat nav voice with it getting arsed? You're going the wrong way.
It's got you can't do K9 without John Leeson. You just can't.
Now we've got several predictions to have a look at here from the punters, from everybody in the live chat here. We have what else? What have we got? We have this one from JFO, who suggests, I think we will get an announcement this year of a specials in 2025 to mark the 20th anniversary of New Who. Since Russell have brought it back. Do you really think they'd follow one anniversary so quickly with another one? Sarah, you mentioned this with the audios. Could there be something on television?
But I felt it's Russell. So I think he could. And I don't know if there'll be any better.
See, something celebratory like that would need to involve Chris Eccleston, really. And
that's what I was thinking.
David Tennant.
Yes, please.
David Tennant's only just been back. So I think it's highly unlikely. I think we may get some documentary about it, maybe, or perhaps.
You know what?
Russell T might have left by then, and then Chris will want to come back because he's not there. So you never know.
I don't think they will, simply because I just think there is fatigue amongst the general public, and I think it'll just pass unnoticed by the general public,
like this one.
I just don't think. I think if we saw what we got for the 60th, which is just kind of vague. Go on, sorry. Go on, Ian.
Retro Gary Akers predicts a year from now, Ian will still be waiting for Hugh Grant.
That's right.
I think that's definitely a correct prediction.
If we got 1 year with Hugh Grant as a Doctor, I'd be happy. I don't care.
Can I just ask the question? We talked at great length last year about who the secret person was hidden under the coat, being smuggled in. So who was that then?
The guy from Coronation Street, apparently. He was in Coronation Street.
What?
I know.
That was it. I think we did a whole show on that photograph.
I don't think we've actually seen that episode yet. I think that's from one of the season 1 stories. And there's a lot of belief out there that it's Martha Jones, played by Freema Agyeman.
Which one are you talking
okay.
about, Dan? Which one are you talking about? The one that's been ushered in and got a...
Yeah.
That's right.
Wasn't that
Mel?
Mel, wasn't that Mel?
I don't know. It's never been revealed.
That had already been announced by.
Right. Okay.
There's a belief. There's a story out there that won't go away, and I've heard it from a couple of sources that Freema Agyeman will be involved in Doctor Who sooner rather than later.
Okay.
But I've seen no evidence with my own 2 eyes, but. People have told
making
me
a lot of money in the States.
Freema was under that code, but she was. She's
doing very well.
Well, she's not doing that TV show anymore. The one in the hospital. No. She wrapped on that, but I know she was over here doing a stage tour late last year. I'm not sure whether she's here in the States at the moment.
Dan, she did a couple of films as well, I think, in the States.
Yeah, I really like Freema. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's lovely.
I'd love to see her back, but I don't know if I want to see her back right now.
Yeah, same here.
That's the same with me and K9. I don't want to see them together.
Yeah.
I want it to be totally separate.
Geek Ramble says we need more animals in Doctor Who. Cast a badger as the next Doctor. You mean, Sean? Do you could be worth a punt?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the Zarbi, they're coming back. You don't believe
Oh no. What was that little robot's name again in the Star the second David Tennant thing? No, the little robot had to push the switch.
Oh, that one that you've got the hot for.
Jimbo. I want Jimbo to come back. Jimbo, man.
Bring back Jimbo.
He blew up.
Boy, who knows? Who knows? Yes, so those are our predictions here for what 2024 may bring in the Whoniverse on and off screen, and we're interested in yours too. Keep them coming. Drop us some in the comments section and we'll get back to you. We may well bring them up on screen and pick our way through some more completely bat-esque suggestions and predictions here on Type 40 Live, because to be honest, I think that's probably what the fandom does. If not best, then close to best. Hope you've enjoyed hearing all of this. And yes, I have no doubt that it will come back to haunt us in a year's time.